Gomer Bill's inspired it's the first, when we were modeling, it was the first one, first one for Buddha, so it was really supposed to decide the style of architecture and land. And we spent a lot of time on the trees because we realized it was 1/3 of the whole level.
And I worked on the maps inspired by Ken Nielsen's paintings for, well, specifically the 12 Dancing Princesses, old fairy tale from, I think, around the turn of the century. Ken Nielsen was also the person that inspired the scene in Fantasia with the real droopy trees, and it's got a real cathedral-like scene as the people are all moving through the trees with the candles. And it adds to the mysteriousness of this level.
The kind of original game mechanic for this level was just having NPCs that aren't just, you walk up and you hit them and you kill them. They're NPCs that are getting generated from something. You have to fight them down to get to their source and then take out their source. So that's where it started. And luckily, since we're in Voodoo, having them be ghosts makes a lot more sense than a lot of other NPCs. So once Andrew got in and did the modeling and animation of Travis's design for that round ghost, it really took off, because just having the fingers going while he's kind of chasing after you. I love the ghost in this level.
Yeah, and a lot of the great camera angles you see is not by the modeler, it's all by the game designer. And so it's really great to have, we really put a focus on getting great cameras from the get-go, and then I'll go in and compose, but it's really nice. We really lock them off and let me work with what the camera is, so we don't change any gameplay, and we just enhance the experience more by just sculpting.
Also, I think in the inspiration of a lot of the art style, I think Dev and Travis gathered a lot of research from all kinds of tribal original peoples' architecture and props, and the lanterns and the gourds and the ropes and the bones, and it's pretty much all organic, based on what you would have if you were living without a mill to mill your lumber with. And keeping it all organic is part of the fun of this one.
Yeah, we decided to make, instead of making the moss a buddy or having it be just a bit map, we decided to model it and just make it puffy, which made it very toony.
The whole waterfalls of soup with the hands and the bones in it are very much inspired by the scene where they're going into get the or whatever. There you see this big cauldron of soup that has hands and all this gory stuff in it, and I was like, well, it's nice as in a pot, but as a waterfall, I would like to
Boy, that really grosses me out. Me too. Yeah, actually, yeah, we all like.
I just thought that was your thing. I didn't realize
The
that was
grosser
an
it is, the
inspiration.
happier of sharing you are, the grosser it is.
Yes.
The more chunks and bits and nibbins,
The more
ribbons and gristle,
the juicier it is.
the better.
Yeah, originally we were experimenting with how to the very first one had the floor and the ceiling were two separate objects, and the walls were skinned between them. So when the floor, you would jump on the floor and the floor would move around and the whole walls would stretch and distort. But
Like being on tongue.
being on a tongue that's pulling on
Like
the
a
cheek or something,
trampoline.
right?
Yeah.
The floor was like a trampoline, and then the entryways would stretch and distort, so the actual doorways would get smaller and bigger. And
Right.
Fitting the number of smart guards in this level that we wanted was pretty difficult, because these were probably the most ambitious smart guards in terms of just the number of animated pieces they had was, I think, more than we tried to put in one before, and so we ended up having to do all this clever stuff to get them all in there and get them animating like we wanted.
Really, there's the difference between the initial texture pass in a level and when Karen has time to go in and put all these light cobwebs and all this really nice
Atmospheric sort of stuff.
atmospheric texture buddies and just texture kind of accessories in the world. It really makes a ton of difference. And this world really feels like it got a decent pass at that.
Yeah.
I think we really wanted this level, even the NPCs, we wanted to kind of make it a little bit more scary and push that angle a little bit more. It's still stylized and has this animated feel, but we wanted it to be, the glowing eyes. I think Hokia did a great job of kind of integrating all the NPCs by giving them all the same sort of glowing eyes. And
real consistency.
Exactly.
This level is in many ways, in my opinion, the most sort of evolved from the standpoint of gameplay mechanics in the game. We do some really crazy things with the camera, like when you're sneaking around the edge and the icicles are falling at you, where we've constrained the player to a simple decision-making process, being left or right with the danger coming down on them. But because they're so constrained, you can do totally whack things with the camera and give you this image that you don't normally see in video games as a result. It's more cinematic, and it helps highlight the danger, in the case of this level, from the guards looking down on you when you sneak around the guard tower or the falling icicles. It's a nice change of pace from just having the top-down playable camera all the time.
You get a bizarre perspective.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so we were recording the voices for the game.
Yes.
And how weird is it to get the script? And the game it's kind of interesting to note that we are not trying to make a cartoon with the voices. Everybody's supposed to be pretty straight-laced, and you're one of the weirder voices in the game with your blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people are very, very dry, not hammy at all.
Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper, if he was hammy, we would be in big trouble. But he takes it all seriously. How hard is it to take it seriously or even understand what's going on from the script?
Well, I would say it's actually pretty simple. The idea is that you get a character and you figure out what this character sounds like and what who they are and what they want without sounding too ridiculous. This is what it is. And you just say the lines like the character would say them. And fortunately, the lines are not too difficult to manage. A lot of them are, wow, press the circle button and you'll jump. And so it's pretty self-explanatory what you need to say, what you need to do. When you get into the crazier stuff about, I think on the other level about, she's making a disgusting soup out of guts and bones. It's just a matter of just going along with the lines and trying to be scared.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you, I don't think you can really use like Stanislavski method when you're trying to picture yourself as a turtle freaked out by a voodoo creation soup.
Well, it's all just the magic of make-believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, well, you say these lines too, and if you're writing them or reading them yourself, you say them and you know exactly what you're trying to get across. And the job of the actor, and I use that term loosely in my regard, is just to try and make sure that everything makes sense as coming out of your mouth.